Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another event video on Marvel Strike Force. Today, we have the Twilight Vigil event. Well, sorry, not today. On Monday at 2 p.m., we have the Twilight Vigil event. Are you ready for some Blade Diamonds? Of course you're not, because only the top 1,000 players on this leaderboard are going to get it. But nonetheless, we're going to be going over everything that you need to know to do the best that you possibly can on this somewhat convoluted event, in my opinion, because they basically just taken this past week's event and just slapped on a few more things that you have to do. Nonetheless, we're going to cover everything you need to know. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Now, before we get to the main event, I do want to talk really quickly about, oh god, what is this called? It's the Nice Stalker Alliance event. I forgot the name. What's it called? What do they even call it now? I don't even know. What is it? Night Raid. There we go. I had it. I just couldn't remember. The reason why I just wanted to kind of let you know that yes, you will be continuing to get the Blade Night Stalker orbs, the Phase 1 orbs for this event. Now, I think it's the same 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I think that's the same that was in Dark Future. Now, the points are the same at 1.25 million. So if you're whatever you're used to doing with Dark Future, it should be the same. However, you're going to get a little bit less because you're not going to be getting, I'm just going to go into full screen mode. You're not going to get as many points as you did with Orcus because, as you can see right here, you get Raid with Blade up to 52,500. And then Oath, for some reason, is only up to 31,500. But she doesn't come out until Wednesday, and this event starts on Monday. And it's a 5-day event. So, what's going to be funny is whether or not you get max points when she comes out, like you did for, like, Nimrod and Omega Sentinel. They'll probably find a way to F it up again. But you don't have as many bonus character points as you did towards the back end of Dark Future. And also, as far as I'm aware, there is no bonus points for Mystic nodes. It didn't say that in the blog, but like for Dark Future, we had been getting bonus points for tech, and that might be going away. That's probably going away on this version of it. So whatever you're used to getting points wise, you're probably going to get a little bit less because you're not going to have the tech bonus points, and the amount of the extra bonus points for the new characters down here is going to be a lot less. So I just want people to keep that in mind. Also, this is the leaderboard, of course, for the main event for this. Why am I blanking again? I shouldn't record late at night, but anyways, this is the leaderboard for diamonds for Blade. You're not going to get that, but there is a lot of purple ISO stuff that I'm sure you probably still need, right? Top 10,000, which is why we're going to be pushing for this. I think it's pretty much the same. The numbers look the same unless 400. I think it is. It's the same payout that it normally is. So these are still pretty important, though, if you are chasing Odin, if you don't have him yet. And even if you do, maybe you want to stockpile up a little bit more for the future. So let's jump on over to the math. Now, this is just a recap really quickly. I don't know what was going on with Reclaim Friday at 250 points. That was so garbage. But anyways, the subtotal that we're at right now is 2/3 of a million, I guess. And so this is with only 2 out of 5 weeks available points wise. So there is still going to be more to come, of course. Now, let's talk about Twilight Vigil. That's the name of the event, right? Twilight Vigil. So we've basically just taken the Showcase Energy and the Alliance donations part, which is for the Sugar Rush, the candy stuff, right? All that. We've just taken that from this past week, and now we're slapping on Campaign Energy for Orb Fragments, and then raiding with select characters from the raid teams at G18 and 19. I've broken down a few different scenarios, 3, in fact, actually, depending on how much gear you have and on what characters. I do feel that, by and large, Extreme X-Men and Spider Society are probably the ones that people will have geared up the most at G18 or 19 because they're just amazing and you're using them in not only Dark Dimension 6, 7, and 8, all of that, because they're just really good. Now, the total milestone points required for this event is 350,000. However, the event item is at 76,000, which is milestone 13. We do not know the free claims, of course. Total web milestone points is actually exactly the same as it was this past week, and it should be a lot easier to clear now. It's the same thing, spending 400,000 candy on the Sugar Rush to complete the milestone, but now you have 7 days instead of 6 days. So you have more time to either buy it from the shop with gold or just to get that extra day of Alliance donations. And that's what we're going to take a look at first before we get into anything. I just want to remind people about the Alliance donation boxes. So these are, you don't even need to get, you can actually just do 3 boxes, but by and large, most players are probably going to get the 4th box, so that's fine. So I'm calculating this at 4 and 5 boxes. To get box number 4, you need 12 silver promo donations and 12 gold donations. You can make up for a silver promo donation by doing 2 gold. Like, so if you don't have that many people who can do silver promos, it's fine. Also, you're only getting box 3. That's also fine. Just the math down here is for 4 and 5 boxes. So 37,500 a day without including the donation candy, and then 50,000 from 5 boxes. And then over 7 days for 4 boxes, this is 262,500 candy and 350,000 if you're scoring 5 boxes for 7 days straight. So it's quite a lot. And then now with 7 days, if you're buying the candy from every rotation from the store, then you're getting an additional 210,000 candy from those 7 days. And honestly, it might seem expensive, but I think it's just really good value. If you need red gear for Dark Dimension 7, this is actually really good value because if you watch my other video, you're getting about a 2.5 million gold profit or surplus from converting the candy to red gear, like the G19 minis or even the uniques. Like you're coming out quite far ahead on this. So even if you're spending your gold here and buying the candy, eventually when you buy this, you're just getting a lot of value out of that. So not as much on the origin gear pieces, but I have been buying this a few times for things that I'm like pretty low on. But otherwise, I try to stick to this. I'm not super picky. I'm also making sure that I buy the Awakened Ability material when it shows up, because I think we're getting to the point now, like at least for me anyways, that I have like kind of quote unquote excess candy where like I can buy a few things extra as they appear, because if I were to wait for specific things, then I might not spend my candy fast enough for when I need to. So yeah, just wanted to point that out there. So that is the Alliance donation stuff. Just going back to recapping that again. And I do want to kind of cover the chart for this just because it's not in game, right? Because I'm doing this a little bit early. So let's go into full screen mode. And what you're actually going to get out of this event. Obviously, there's a lot of silver bullets, which you need for your month long. There's 75,000 of those there. And then the event item, the prayer beads here. There is, however, there is quite a bit of purple ISO stuff, especially pretty early on. You see 50,000. Actually, it starts up here, actually, in fact. 30,000 up here, and then another 50,000, and then another 70,000. And some of these other ones, unfortunately, you don't get the... It seems that ions have now, at least through the events, have become a lot easier to get than the ISO crystals and the orbs. So the ISO orbs, which get you the crystals, right, it doesn't start until this milestone down here. So 2 orbs here and 3 orbs here. Luckily, these are pretty easy to get. However, if you do have a lot of these characters at G18 and 19, you should be able to push some of these other milestones here. So I just kind of want to point that out before we finish the rest of the math. So let's go back here. So we need to talk about showcase energy, right? And so total showcase energy is 688 a day on 200 cores. Now, I'm, as of recording, still coring my showcase energy for the 30 Thanos shards that I still want to get out of this current event. I am recording this on Saturday, though, so take this with a grain of salt. As soon as I am finished with my Vampiric Frenzy milestone 15, I am going to be hoarding my showcase energy, at least in the 50 core range, and I'm going to be hoarding it for when this event, the Twilight Vigil event, starts. So if you are not going for one of these other milestones, it's my recommendation that you hoard, because it's a leaderboard, to hoard and wait until Monday if you're not pushing this event anymore, because this one's not a leaderboard. So it makes sense to hold your showcase energy on that one, unless you really want to use it. If you have Blade unlocked and you're spending and you're doing it for candy, I mean, it's entirely up to you. But the value of the points that you're getting is 10 to 1. So that means that 100 energy is worth 1,000 points. And so some people were asking me, well, what's better to do? Is it better to core for your campaign energy, or is it better to core for your showcase energy? And I think the answer is, for your first 200 cores daily, you should be coring for the showcase energy. And then after that, if you want to go up to 400 cores daily, then you core for the campaign energy. The only problem is that I don't know 100% what the orb fragment ratio is going to be. How many orb fragments are you going to get per energy? I don't know. I'm going with a 4 to 1 this time. It's a bit conservative, but I don't want to shoot too high and then be wrong about that. I think at the bare minimum, we will get 4 to 1. If it's better than that, great. So for an example, I just want to point this out. So if it's 4 to 1, that means that a 1 refresh for campaign energy, 120 times 4 is worth 480 points. Whereas 1 core refresh for the showcase energy is worth 1,000 points. So you're getting twice as much milestone points from doing your 50 core refreshes on your showcase energy than you might be on your campaign energy. What this means though is that by and large, if all you want is points, you're gonna get more value out of it on your showcase energy. But when it comes to should I 100 core showcase energy versus a 50 core of the campaign energy, I would say no. So make sure you do the first 200 on showcase, first 200, the next 200, sorry, on campaign energy, and then from there, I don't normally recommend going past 400 daily, but then you'd probably go back to the showcase energy once again and kind of go back and forth, if that makes sense. So your total campaign energy per day, it's 1100 if you're doing your 200 cores daily, right? They're kind of ramping up the expectations now because of the cores that you're getting out of Arena. But this is the first time where I think this is the first time where they've made you core two different energy sources in the same event. I don't think that they've done that up until now. So keep that in mind. And that's 4,430 total fragments daily if it's 4 to 1. It could be more, it could be 6, it could be 8, but I'm just doing this as 4 just for a conservative value, and we'll see what the reasonable points is towards the end. So as you can see, 200 cores daily, you're getting a lot more points out of the showcase energy than you would be from the campaign energy. That being said, I have hoarded, so I hope that this will give me some value. That I've done this in advance. I didn't put a lot of cores into it. A lot of these were just kind of like free claims that I was kind of taking on top of my points there. So take that with a grain of salt too. And these are the points for the gear. Now, the thing about this though is that, well, I don't know what you have and what you don't have, right? There's 4 teams: Alpha Flight, Hive Mind, Spider Society, and Extreme X-Men. Okay. Now, by and large, I think most people who are in the ender game or mid ender game, like my alt account has G18 and 19, Extreme X-Men, Inspire Society. I think that's reasonable. Hive Mind less so. Like even I didn't actually have any on my main account, and Alpha Flight I had 1. So you only need 1 character at G19 to qualify for all the points for the team because it requires 20 raid attacks for that character. So if you have a single G19 character, you only need to do 20 raid attacks total in the week. That's equivalent to 3 raid attacks with that character per day. Now, one thing that you could do, and unfortunately, I don't have a node to show you exactly what I'm talking about, but if you have the desired characters at G18 and 19, what I recommend doing is utilizing the Spotlight raid to do this. So you could go to the final boss or like the first 2 nodes, right? And you could stack all of your G19 characters from the different raid teams and then just go into the battle and then lose the battle. You're going to waste a little bit of your raid energy to do this, but you're going to get some easy points that way in case you have issues in your other raids trying to use these characters. So that's what I personally recommend. Maybe do this 2 or 3 times every Spotlight raid right at the start. Just kind of burn your energy with those G19 characters because honestly, Spotlight raid is very easy to clear. It's like, what, 9 nodes? It's 9 nodes for 2 people. So it's very easy to clear. And that's what I recommend in order to get your points a little bit easier if you're not able to use it in your green raid or your Orcus raid. So there's a lot of points there up for grabs. And if you can get all of that, all the better, right? Make sure you pick that up because this is a leaderboard event. Okay, so now, oh wait, I thought I had to, hold on, let me revamp this one really quick. Okay, sorry about that. We have we got 3 different scenarios here now. So we have total reasonable points. This is if you have none of the above characters geared. You're only using your coring on your energy source. That's going to put you at about 113,000 without the free claim. That's going to get you about milestone 14. So that's going to give you 1 above the event item. If you do have a G19 Spider Society and Extreme X-Men, that's going to get you to about 163,000 because there's a lot of points up for grabs here. That's going to get you to milestone 16, which is pretty good. And then if you have all 4 of the teams at your tier 19, or at least 1 character, right? That's going to get you to 213,000 without the free claim, and assuming the energy is a 4-to-1 ratio. Now, what does that get you? So let's take a look at milestones 15, 16, 17, just to give you an idea of kind of what we're working with here. And we have here 15 over here. This one's not that great. Actually, it just says these 3 lines here. 16, however, does have 5 purple ISO orbs. That's pretty good, actually. And the 200,000 purple ions, that's okay too. There's 32. I think those are those G9, G19 minis. And then milestone 17 over here has 8 purple ISO orbs, 10 million gold, and these Origin gear pieces, and 32 other G19 tech minis. So that one's pretty good. Milestone 17 is actually really good, which means that you're going to be able to get that right here at 213,000. The problem is the next one. The only way that you'd be able to get milestone 18 if you had all the characters geared would be probably if the orb ratio is like 6 or 8 to 1. So I wouldn't really expect this to happen other than that. If it is, great. Then we're going to get that much more. But I would expect that if you have everything required for this event, then you will probably get up to milestone 17, which seems fairly good. The only other way is if it's somehow worse than 4 to 1, it's like 2 to 1, and it's less points than what I've just said, which just would mean that coring into the showcase energy is way better value. Now, the other thing I want to point out is that the orb that you're getting from this does contain red gear. So it's a Crimson Gear event orb. I'm pretty sure we had one of these before, but it's going to include Origin, not uniques. It's going to have like actual red gear in it. I don't know what it's going to look like. I haven't seen it yet in game, but it very well could actually be a pretty decent orb. We'll just have to wait and find out more about that when it actually shows up. But otherwise, it's there's a lot of things going on, but it's not a super difficult event. I personally I'm gonna core a little bit into my campaign energy, but I'll end up starting this event, I think, with probably like 4,000 energy. It won't be like an insane horde, and I'm gonna try to get some hoarding into my showcase energy just a little bit before the event starts, maybe a day before if I can manage that once I clear my vampiric frenzy. So yeah, what I don't like though is that they're kind of squeezing us even more for cores when they've already squeezed us for characters because we've been having to divert some of our power cores to open core orbs for characters, right? And now they're throwing 400 cores daily basically at us for these events, and it's a lot. So we'll see how this kind of develops as the week goes on, if there are weeks go on, and if this continues to be this way, if this is the new trend that they're pushing the direction on us. So we'll have to see. So that's going to be the end of this math video, everyone. And of course, this is going to be available on my Discord in the Boilon's Resources channel. I do wait until the event goes live, though, so I can include the free claim in there and any updated stuff that I really need to change, like the orb fragments, if that ends up changing beyond 4 to 1. Otherwise, have a great rest of your weekend, everybody, and I will see you on the next video. So until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.